right, here we go, guys. It's that time again. It's time for another episode of the Final Split. We're on number 38 this week, and we've got a fun bunch here today. Starting with the fun bunch below me in the red box, we've got Spike Vegeta.
I'm my own.
You're your own fun bunch. That's right. What did you do this week, Spike? How have you been?
I'm gonna put that on my next dating website.
Spike
profile.
Fun Bunch Vegeta. Like, oh man, how have you been?
I've been good. I PB'd in Rayman by 2 minutes, 2 days in a row.
Nice.
I skipped the 128 and the 126, so it's pretty whatever. And yeah, they I guess the Nintendo just had their sick deal on the donkeys today on Nintendo eShop. So download DKC 1 and 2, and a bunch of people in the Tropical Freeze community were thinking about getting into learning Donkey Kong Country 2. So that's always been a project a lot of us want to get into. So that's been exciting today to start that off. But yeah,
all right.
I'm good.
Very good, very good. And in the green box, as usual, Darkman, how have you been as well?
Good.
Are you? Do you consider yourself your own fun bunch?
I wouldn't say I'm quite at that level. I'm not at the level of Fun Bunch Spike Vegeta over there, but I try to aspire to be like that one day.
Okay, all right.
Like a fun 6-pack, just not.
Yeah.
A bunch. I guess
You're a fun size candy bar. How about that? That's a little bit.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
there
like
you go.
that.
I never understood how fun was a size, but and you'd think if it
I
was.
hope you enjoy
By the
this.
way, you'd think it's fun size. It'd be like gigantic, right? It's like this depressing little cube. I don't know why that's fun, but okay.
Okay,
Fun,
so
so
I had
you
a
don't
talk-
like gain.
Spike.
I had a talk with my roommate yesterday. We were out, and I bought a Snickers bar because I'm a child. And I'm eating that Snickers bar, and we were thinking about the commercial where it's like, you're never yourself when you're hungry. And it's like, when have you ever thought, man, I'm so hungry, I need a candy bar?
The only thing I need right now. Oh man, I'd give anything. I'd
Desert
give anything
Island,
for a
they
Snickers.
drop a candy bar on me to get by. I'd be like, the actual frick, dude. Come on. Poor fuck. R-rated. Like, oh my gosh. But yeah, no, that was, that grinds my gears. That's our new
That's
segment.
okay. We're gonna have a new segment where you can complain about that on the show. We'll note that for next time. Our guest this week joining us from all the way around the globe. We've got Worster. And Worster, what kind of fun are you? What's your
I don't know. I don't think I'm any kind of fun.
Any
I think I'm
kind
the
of fun.
anti-fun.
no
aren't I?
fun? Oh man.
No fun allowed.
All right. Well, somebody's got to be that, I guess,
Seriously.
to balance everybody else out. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're gonna get to your crystal antics later, but anything else you've been doing recently that you want to bring up?
Oh, dude, I've been doing so many games recently. Like over the past month, I think I've done runs of at least 10 games.
Wow.
The most notorious definitely was the Pingu run that I did. Everybody that saw that run seemed to really enjoy it.
Okay. Very.
It was just, yeah.
I'm gonna
I don't
need, what is Pingu?
You don't know what Pingu is.
I'm so sorry.
Wow. Okay.
A literal
Pingu.
rock I live under.
Pingu is like a animated cartoon from way back in the day. It's just a penguin and it doesn't talk. It just makes sounds and goes around doing stuff. But there was a game that was only released in Japan based on the game, and it's
Okay.
absolutely awful. But I saw leaderboards for it on speedrun.com.
Oh, of
and I was
course.
like, dude, I've got to get that record now,
Yeah.
don't I?
That's the way to go. That's the way to go. All right. Well, we'll get to the rest of the games in a little bit here. But for now, we got to start off with the topic that everybody is talking about and the biggest announcement of all time, according to according to Twitch. Oh man, that's right, guys. TwitchCon is happening. It's taking place September 25th to 26th in San Francisco, and Spike's already got his pass there. Is that what you're holding up?
Yeah,
You're going.
yeah.
You got your your
I
invite
hold
only.
things. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's all right. Yeah, TwitchCon, 25th to 26th. No specifics really mentioned outside of location and date at this point, but I feel like we're pretty capable of filling in the blanks here.
Sure.
What do you guys think about TwitchCon? I'll
Oh.
open that floodgate. I'll let you guys.
I think the idea of it is pretty interesting. The announcement is don't even get me started on that. What the heck? But I think the idea of it is pretty neat. for us as speedrunners, it may not be like the biggest thing to look forward to because of the fact that we have like the GDQs and we have other events like ESA and whatnot to look forward to. But I think for like people outside of the speedrunning community, I think it's a pretty cool thing because you can go, you can meet your streamers, you can meet other people in your community. You just get to interact with people, that you've only seen online. So it's basically GDQs for like non-speedrunners. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to jump on this as from the speedrunning community specifically, which is what our show is catered to. So when we bring it up, it's obviously going to be a little tongue-in-cheek, a little jokey. But for us, it's like we already have our GDQs. That doesn't mean we can't accept TwitchCon as well. Now, me personally, I'm probably not going to break the bank to go to TwitchCon. Because let's face it, the reason why they made such a big announcement about it and they built it up is because it's Twitch saying, hey, look, we are big enough and strong enough and rich enough and powerful enough to have our own con. And yes, people are going to come to, we're going to come to it. People are going to make money off of it. Does that mean speedrunners have to go? No. Does it mean like you're going to get huge off of it? No, not necessarily. That being said, as someone who just went out to San Francisco, I wouldn't be opposed to being invited back. I'll just say that. San Francisco is a wonderful city. If you have a chance, go. And this is not a bad way, I think, to spend it. It is more for, you're probably going to see a ton of stream monsters there. You're probably going to see a ton of the, I guess, like bigger time streamers than us. But speedrunning, we have to accept we are a part of Twitch's community. We are, to a certain extent, important to them. So I think you'll see some speedrunners invited out there, and I'd like to see it be a success and be something where legitimately you could have like speedrunning panels and stuff like that pop up over there.
I guess from my perspective on it, it's kind of the details at this point that are missing. It's kind of a question of what kind of event are they going to shape this into? Is it going to be the kind of event where they just host it and expect people to show up, or are they going to be, flying in all kinds of, they're going to have their esports personalities and some speedrunners and whatever popular streamers they want to bring in? Is it going to be kind of the expectation is you're just going to want to show up, or are they going to really try to cater and bring people into it? The other thing, kind of like you mentioned, Spike, I feel like if you're in the area, it's a lot easier to commit to going to something like this than if you aren't. Because if you aren't, there are a lot of events around the states that kind of already cater to the same sort of interests. Like, I guess the comparison I saw a lot, and I made it myself actually, was PAX comes to mind as almost, a stream gathering already. So I guess it's up to Twitch to prove that their convention is different enough to make people want to go to it. I don't know, Worcester, do you have any thoughts on TwitchCon?
Not particularly. I mean, obviously it doesn't interest me too much from being overseas.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like events like that, it's going to be more focused on, you've got to really, really care about the games to get a lot out of it rather than the people. Because it's more of a general event, it's not going to be quite as tight-knit. Mm-hmm. And so because it's more general as well, it's going to attract more of the viewer type person as well. Someone who doesn't branch out and find their own niche type thing. So, I don't know. I feel like it would be a good, lead up for people, I guess, to find out, exactly where they want to go in a community.
Sure. And
find more people to get really close with and then do meetups like that.
Here's my other thought on it too, was when they said, at first they just said it's a big announcement. I thought, oh crap, what are they going to do to the site? What's
rip?
How is streaming going to change forever now? But it being kind of a separate event entirely from the website, I feel like there's no harm, no foul in, trying it. And if it's a success, really, that's great. If it's not, I don't think it really hurts them that much to, take a stab at this and see, what happens. So that's kind of my thought on it. Do you have a final thought there, Darkman?
No, I mean, it's in their backyard, so it's not like it's much of a risk to hold it.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. There you go. That's our take on it anyway. I guess we can go ahead and move on from TwitchCon. I'm surprised. TwitchCon kind of was a passive issue there. I thought there's going to be a lot more stuff to mention there, but maybe the chat's doing
I
it for
hate
us.
TwitchCon.
There it is. There it is. Oh, there it is. Oh man, that fun bunch is slowly shifting from the red box to the blue box. Yeah. All right. Well, our guest this week is Worcester, and there's a million things we can probably bring up to talk about with you. But I guess where I would maybe want to start is just well, okay, let's go with the very, very beginning for you as far as speedrunning is concerned, because I feel like a lot of people are, it's easy to associate you with, Pokemon and the games that you've been running recently. But your history with speedrunning goes back quite a ways.
A long way, yeah. So I think my speedrunning history started back in 2003 when I was watching my brother do Mario Kart Super Circuit like time trials, and I was like, the younger brother, I've got to be better than him.
Yeah.
So tried that out too, and wasn't better. But then he got really into the Sonic series, and so I did as well. And so from like 2004 up until 2011, pretty much all I was speedrunning was Sonic games, and just going across doing individual levels more than anything. And then SRL came, and that brought so many different games into my horizon.
Yeah,
And
so I mean, up until SRL kind of shows up on the scene, Sonic was pretty much your mainstay.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, and then SRL shows up. I mean,
Yeah. There were a few other games I would think about but wouldn't take too seriously, and none of them were Pokemon.
Okay, interesting.
So
Yeah.
where does Pokemon come from then?
Pokemon comes from SRL. So there was it just came from some random race someone did to beat Misty glitchless, and there were like 10 people in the race. And then they did it again, and the second time I wanted to enter, but I didn't have internet. So I was just playing along as the race went, and I got like 8th place or something like that. And I was really mad that I didn't get first, because I was really into winning on SRL at that stage. And so I went through the whole game, routed the whole game, and then I beat the run that was on SDA the day after. And I was just like, all right, I'm so into Pokemon now.
That's it. That's all it took. Yeah, there was a time in SRL's history where points were everything. They mattered so much. Like rank was the real deal.
Yeah, I remember. Oh no, yeah, I remember at one stage at SRL, I had this thing going on where every game that I raced, I wanted to be in the top 3 on the leaderboards in every single one. And then Pokemon trading card game, I was 4th, and it had Cypher, Nez Kamikaze, and Anise above me, and they were all actually really good at the game, and I was garbage, so I could never get into top 3, and it just ruined my streak forever, and I hated them for that.
A trading card game, that's one that we haven't seen people play in a while. I know they did a couple races. There was kind of like a resurgence for a while, and then
Yeah, for some,
actually,
like,
someone
months
just recently got the record for it.
Really?
Like just today. Yeah, it's on. I didn't even know about it either, but it's on speedrun.com awaiting verification.
Cool.
I was about to watch it before this started.
So it's
but then
it's
I
more
didn't get
alive than
done.
I thought. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, speedrun.com bringing the news. It has arrived.
Yeah, so talk a little bit, I guess, about that. Maybe you can fill us in where we might be missing here. But how did the Pokemon community settle on? They have settled on speedrun.com now, right? Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. How did that come to be?
Um.
Because before that, you guys were kind of
Yeah. There's like a
Scattered, right?
wiki and a forum for the Pokemon speedruns, but when speedrun.com came up, it was still in like beta for a long time, and I guess it's still technically it kind of is, but it had a lot of flaws. And then there was this big update where they changed the front page and they changed how runs were showing up on the site. And pretty much I posted on the forum saying this site is better than ours. Let's move our leaderboards there. And everyone was like, sure.
That's great.
All right.
And it's just been relatively, like, maybe in the last year or so. I know for a while emulators were allowed for across the entire series, right? And then recently those have been banned. What's the storyline behind that for anyone maybe not in the savvy, such as myself?
Okay, there is actually a big story to that. So
Okay.
it's not that emulators are banned, it's just that if a record time is done on emulator, it doesn't count as the record pretty much. And I mean, it still shows up on speedrun.com, it's just not seen as the world record pretty much.
Mm.
So the reason that came about was, so the first thing that happened was there's a long history of cheaters on SRL for Pokemon, if you know what went back there. But some guy submitted a run to Crystal, actually, and it would have been the record at the time. And I think it was 3:21 was his time. You'll appreciate his name, by the way. It was Starcry TAS. But anyway, that happened.
That's
while
one
I
way to
was-
convince people that you're innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was pretty good, but it happened while I was asleep, and I woke up and I just went straight into streaming the next day. And there were like a dozen people in my chat being like, "Oh, your crystal time got beaten. Oh, this guy did it. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll check that out after I finish streaming."
Oh, we'll see about that.
I watched the run, and within 5 minutes, I knew it wasn't a real run. It was a TAS on an emulator. But the point was that no one else, like, it went through the system. It got verified by someone. It was listed as the record. And, like, it was just really easy for something to slip through the cracks. And because I was the one who then said, this run actually isn't cheated. Like, I could explain it to people within the community, like other runners, how I could see how it was cheated. But the viewer perception was, oh, you're just mad, your time got beaten,
Sure.
you're just making up excuses, blah, blah, blah. And so it really didn't make sense for me to have that authority to just go, yep, this isn't legit, blah, blah, blah. So, and then it happened again in Red when Xarion came along with his run. And so it was just like, I couldn't see that, like, that run had no evidence of being cheated. But it just went to show, you can't tell the difference pretty much. It's really difficult. So leaving that window open is kind of a flaw in the system.
Sure.
So I think that, like, the rules we've come up with, it's like, it's not discouraging people to play on emulator because it is still difficult, if you're just getting into it, to get a Game Boy player and get the capture card and whatever.
I mean,
it's just when you're at really high level, it's
Sure.
worth putting in that effort.
It's kind of like teaching people to eventually adopt console. So, play on emulator when you're starting out, but work your way towards console at some point, especially if you're going into it. Okay. Now, you've had some pretty amazing journeys to GDQs. I always hear stories about just like how many days it takes you to just, just to even get there, let alone how long you end up staying. But do you have a favorite travel
or least
favorite travel experience?
Well, my least favorite travel was definitely this year coming back when
Yeah.
I got to the airport and they said, "Oh, yeah, your flight's been cancelled. You're leaving in 4 days."
What?
And then he pulled out a sheet and he had my name highlighted and said, "Oh, yeah, this means we didn't contact you." Well,
Okay.
thanks for that.
We decided not to tell you until you got to the airport.
Exactly. And so
Oh,
that
man.
was a lot of yelling and screaming on the phone once I got back to the hotel.
Wow.
And I ended up making it 2 days. I was very persuasive on the phone.
Sure.
That's
Because
putting it
they had
lightly,
the
I
flight
bet.
2
Yeah.
days later, but it was booked out. And I said, "No, I don't care. I'm getting on that flight. You're overbooking and someone else is missing out. Don't give a shit." But so then, luckily, and I'm very grateful to Peanut Phobia, put me up in his house for a few days before I left.
Penis
And it was
cool
good to
guy.
chill with him. But yeah, that was definitely my least favorite experience with traveling.
Okay. Now, I also remember this AGDQ, you kind of built a notoriety for yourself as slowly acquiring more and more of the hotel over time. How much of the hotel did you have access to by the time you were done? I feel like you could have gone anywhere.
So there are 2 rooms in that hotel, I think, that I haven't been in. That I know of, anyway.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's so good.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's excluding the, staying rooms. of
Sure,
course.
sure.
Like,
For
But
a
yeah.
while in the early episodes of the final split, we always asked guests who came on, "What's your special skill?" We'd have someone playing guitar. We say, "Oh, I can cook really well." Do you have a history of this? Is this
Was this just
Outside
brand
of-
new for this AGDQ?
you get wherever you want, whenever you want these powers?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the hotel there, the staff were amazing. Absolutely amazing. But they were pretty incompetent. They, I remember one stage at there was one time at 5 a.m. I probably shouldn't be telling the story, but I don't care. It was at 5 a.m. and I'm walking in the staff kitchen and I'm I'm going into their freezer. I'm like, I feel like some juice. I'm getting one of the fruit cups and some guy is there at 5 a.m. and he catches me and I'm like, oh no, this is it. It's over.
This is how it ends.
He looks at me and he's just like, "Good morning, sir." Thank you. Good morning to you too.
I don't know if he
What
was just
great
shocked
service.
or if he was just playing along with it.
Did you need a massage while I'm in here, sir?
Yeah, is there anything I can get you? Can you get me my juice I was going to take for myself? Oh man, yeah. I just remember the one day we're all up in one of the hotel rooms, and Worcester comes back with this bucket full of juice from the kitchen. Anyone want a juice? Oh man, yeah. No, I just I don't know. It felt like probably the funniest thing that came from that hotel. I know that hotel had a lot of interesting experiences, the fire alarm and all of that, and a lot of people had some pretty negative experiences at the restaurant too. I know BJW will never go back there again. He had his water knocked over by the waiter who curled the bread onto the table. That was good. He had this basket of bread. You know, you get like the free bread at the restaurant. And the waiter just like literally he curled it onto the table and it just slid across and knocked over BJW's
I still
water.
like to imagine it with like the broom.
Yeah, the brooms, they're like
That's what I'm
sweeping it
drops
closer.
it down.
Hard. Oh man.
Now, not to completely go away from the
No, go
fun
ahead.
stuff. Let's talk about the no fun zone speedrunning. Okay, so on my, whenever we do our game selection, unofficial, I have to call them now.
There you go.
You get in trouble. if
The
you don't call them
unofficial game
unofficial.
selection.
The unofficial game selection predictions show for all the GDQs. You know, Pokemon is always a game that is polarizing for a lot of people. Worcester, I want you, like I talk with a lot of speedrunners, defend why Pokemon is a great speed game, something that a lot of people, because, there are a lot of people there, there's a huge fan base for it. Some people think it's not the best of speed games. Some people don't like RPGs as speed games in general. What would you say about it, I guess, to defend it as a speed game?
Well, I mean, it's different versus as a speed game and as a marathon game. So, I mean, as a speed game, I can talk about, a lot of the technical details that go into it. There's so much you can talk about. The commentary is always going to be really good because the person who runs it's always going to be really knowledgeable about what they can talk about. Even if something bad happens in the run, it doesn't necessarily make the marathon run really bad. And I mean, a really good example of that is AGDQ 2013. I mean, it's like I'm always very critical of Pokemon in GDQs actually, because it's like a lot of the runs that I really like doing as a speed run, like the Crystal, which we'll talk about later, that would be really bad for a GDQ. I think that would be an awful marathon run. So I'm always very particular about what games I would submit as a Pokemon run to make sure that it actually would be entertaining. And, I would be very critical of other people as well, submitting runs. But, like, I always make sure that they're going to be good marathon runs. Like this year it was No Save Corruption, Red Blue, which was really short, really entertaining. Like, it has lots of glitches. It has lots of knowledge. Like, there's a lot of history that you can talk about that goes behind it. Yeah, I don't know. I always make sure there's good variety. I don't know what else I can say. I'm just rambling here talking about
well, no,
absolutely nothing.
I think I get what you're getting at though, because it's very different going from I'm just going to run, a vanilla gold, right? I'm just going to play gold. I can't say vanilla like that because then it's going to confuse people. Like, okay, don't
That's another
gotta
game.
be careful. Pokemon's probably covered that at this point.
Pokemon vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. But no, so it's different for somebody saying like I'm just going to play whatever Pokemon any percent category versus I can actually make this a genuine marathon cell, because it does feel like for Pokemon or for maybe RPGs to get into a GDQ at this point, they have to have a pretty convincing pitch that they stand out. So
go ahead.
Oh,
you go.
No, I'm all out.
Okay. Well, like what I was saying with the run I did this year, that's actually like my least favorite run to actually do. Like
Okay.
speedrunning wise, I think it's awful, but it's really good to showcase
Sure.
at a marathon is what and that's always the runs that I think, I mean, you can find that because there's so many Pokemon games and there's so many different ways you can play them. It's not really going to wear out as well because it's like there's never really ever going to be more than one Pokemon game a year, pretty much.
Sure.
Or main series anyway. Like they might put in Snap or whatever. But like it is an insanely popular franchise. And I mean, it's not like Zelda where it's going to get like 4 runs and it's 12 hours. It's
Right.
one run, it's one game, and it's different each year that it's being done also.
Now, I was gonna say that one of the first lock queue memories that I have was HDQ 2013, and that was the year that you were doing the single frame trick on the GameCube where you had to power off, and that was your what was it, corrupting gold? Was that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's so different because I can just picture like the thought process going into it versus you can sit at home and grind something for a week straight and just hope the luck eventually hits. But at that time, at that live moment when you're trying to execute this trick, it's what do you do is 4 or 5 times go by and it's you load it back up and hey, wait a minute, that didn't I didn't hit the frame. But I mean, do you feel marathon pressure? Does that apply to you, or do you is it not really a thing?
Not really, especially not in 2013, because in
Okay.
2013 I wasn't taking it seriously at all. I was much less prepared than I was. It's like one of the games I ran that. Oh no, okay, so I ran 3 games that year.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them I had never beaten on console before the marathon, and I didn't beat either of them on console during my run. Because I didn't beat gold on, like I did off stream,
Mm-hmm.
but Sonic 2 and Knuckles was a race, and I'd never beaten that on stream, like on console, sorry, before. All my runs were on emulator, and my controller was faulty, so I actually skipped a level. So technically, I didn't beat the game on console during the marathon run either.
I don't remember that. That's really good.
So tell us a little bit about your personal favorite achievement in speedrunning. We were actually asked this at the con we went to in San Francisco, and all of us were like, speedrunners, we're never happy
Yeah.
with anything we do. I have a feeling you've done so many, literally thousands and thousands of attempts across all your games. Do you have a number one that if you look back right now, even if it's not a world record, it's just something that you are proud you accomplished that feat?
Okay, I actually do have a few of those, but none of them are really good. They're just like kind of funny anecdotes.
All right.
One
Sure.
that definitely sticks in my mind was I beat Cypher in a gimmick race. Like that.
Hey, I was
Wow.
right till the end of time.
Now, was it close?
I think it was like 6 minutes the difference because we were doing it blind, I think.
Okay.
But he was I think he kind of knew about the game, but I didn't. And that was during like I think that was like the first round robin that we did on SRL.
Oh, that was way back. Okay.
Yeah, way back. And I think Cool Kid picked the game, and Cypher was, I'm planning on running this game in the future. I'm going to breeze this. And we were all in the Skype. And Cypher was ahead, and I think he kept dying to the level 5 boss. I think
the tank spider. The tank spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he died, and I was very slowly catching up, and I got up to it for the first time, and he was still on the level. And Cool Kid was like, all right, Worcester, this is how you beat it really easily. And this is how you do the next part. Just trying to make sure Cypher didn't win. Just coaching me all the way through to the end.
So your proudest achievement involves cheating.
Hey, it involves Cool Kid. There's nothing wrong with that.
I noticed there's a lot of history of cheating and not finishing levels in marathons. What's going on, Worcester?
Building a reputation here on the show. We better shut up. Yeah, no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say on a more like social level. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the MHC. Like, how did that like form? Because I don't even know the backstory behind it. All I know is it exists.
The MHC formed from a site called the Sonic Center, which was where all the Sonic competition was, back in the early 2000s, pretty much. And it was just one of like the guys, Burton Silux. You've probably heard of him.
Yep.
Like his like best friend IRL. He is the most ridiculous, stupid troll you have ever met. He just talks absolute nonsense and absolute shit the entire time you're talking to him. He's been at the last 3D GDQs. You probably haven't seen him, but if he is, he's permanently drunk. All he drinks is ice hours. He just talks so much shit. So he got banned from the site just for being a troll. Like,
Okay.
he never cheated or anything. They just banned him for being a troll. And so Psylocke made this IRC channel adjacent to the Sonic Center called Metroid Hunters, because he was playing Metroid Hunters at the time. And it was just him, that guy Sonic and Amy, and then I think Groudon joined. And then, like, Psylocke just kept inviting people in. He was like, "Yo, do you want to come in here? We're talking shit with Sonic and Amy." And so we did, and then eventually we were like, "Fuck IRC, let's talk on Skype." And so we did.
And that's it. That's how it starts.
That's it.
So
Yep.
Nice.
now, do you have a favorite MHC moment, like streaming? I know you guys do a lot of like 24-hour streams where you're all in the same call together. Do you have one that stands out? I know you guys just recently did the blue balls challenge. What was?
Yes, the blue balls.
Can I get the one sentence review of playing that for 24 hours straight? How would you describe?
Oh, jeez. There aren't really any words, honestly.
I think that's what I was looking for. Thanks.
Yeah. No, that was really fun, though. I really enjoyed that. Like, we've done a lot of streams like that, and they've all been, like, fantastic. One of the ones that sticks out to me pretty well, actually, was during one of the SRG marathons. I forget which one. It might have been 3, where we had, like, an MHC block in that marathon.
Okay.
And it was, like, Trihex did a run, Silex did a run, SJ did a run, DSS did a run, and then I did a run. And it was just really fun, just like talking absolute shit the whole time. And we had like a bid war that was just like ass versus tits, and that brought in like half the donations for the marathon. It was great.
I love the internet.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can raise money for. Yeah, but I mean, you guys were probably. I mean, I think I remember that actually. You guys were all on the call, just kind of ripping on each other's runs at that point and
Yep.
having a good time. So that sounds like a lot of fun. I kind of want to do that now, but so now we're moving into 2015 of speedrunning here. We'll talk about Crystal in just a little bit, but what is your current take on the speedruns that you've done in the past, the ones that you're looking forward to? Do you have like a list of games you want to get to this year? Is there plans to return to games that you've already done? What are you kind of thinking about?
Yeah, I have this joke that's called This Year,
Okay.
basically, where
Alright.
it's games I'm going to run this year.
Right.
And it's a list of, I
think
think it's up to over 70 games
Oh wow.
on my list.
Everyone has that list too, by the way. It's not exclusive to Worcester, but
Yeah,
this
true.
is a little bit longer than everybody's.
That's very true. But yeah, I want to go back to a lot of games. I want to look into new games. I want to venture out. I've had so many, like, I've had games on my mind for like 4 years that I've wanted to run. Like Golden, I know you remember Banjo-Tooie.
I was waiting for
brought it up on me.
Banjo-Tooie for like 2 years. Yeah. I
Yep.
know you mentioned it at one point, and I just never let it go. But
That's still in the back of my mind. It's still
Okay.
there. It's on the list.
that's all I need. That's all I wanted to hear. So
Now I gotta ask, because I've known, I guess I'm closer to you, Worcester, than I am to, like, I don't know, the Siglemics of the world, where I try to run a lot of different types of games. I run games from different series. I've heard a lot of people give the opinion that you shouldn't run multiple games. That's the quote unquote bad thing to do as a speedrunner. You should focus on 1 or 2 games and just get really, really good at that. What would you say to defend running multiple games and getting at a high level in lots of games like you try to do?
Yeah, I think anyone who says that is shit. Like,
I mean, you're,
I tell everyone never run just one game. Like, I couldn't imagine just running one game. It would be awful for me.
Mhm.
There are so many instances where you see people get burnt out when they play one game. Like, it's so obvious
Yep.
in them. Like, they just stop speedrunning for months pretty much because they don't know how to switch. But I mean, the other thing that comes into my mind is like sometimes I'll like put a game down for a few months. When I come back a few months later, I'll actually be better at the game because of the skills I've acquired from playing other games. They do transfer, but it's also important to note that when I do play one game for too long, I actually notice my skills go down in other games because I'm so used to just playing that game that it really affects my performance in other games. So
so it's almost
I
like
think
you mix it up just to keep your mind fresh on all the different games that
Yeah.
you're playing too.
Exactly. And I mean, you also become really bogged down in your mentality. Like, you assume what you're doing is right if you don't get a fresh perspective from playing other games, which happens all the time for me. Like, I'll come back and review my route for, let's say, a Pokemon game after not playing it for 6 months, and I'll go, what the fuck was I doing? This is shit, this is shit, this is shit. I can improve all of this.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's amazing how much of there that is, like you say, where you would think speedrunning video games are so apples and oranges. Oh, surely this skill set will only apply to one game over here. Maybe one game will teach you better mashing skills. Maybe one game will teach you just a better routing mentality to then go and apply to all the other games. Some are just this intensive platforming makes you better at that intensive platforming or aiming or whatever it might be. Yeah, that's really interesting. So.
All right. I'm going to cut it off there, and we'll have viewer questions later in the show because I'm sure that there's plenty of those too. So for now, we'll go ahead and move on to the rest of the topics that we have prepared for the show here. And the first one of those being, I think this is really interesting. I almost jumped in on this. We've got this RPG routing challenge going on right now. This is put on by the guys in #RPG on SRL IRC. And the idea here is that a bunch of players have signed up for essentially a month-long boot camp on a game that does not have a known speedrunning route. So they're going to be playing Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume, which I don't know. I had to look it up because I know Valkyrie Profile, but Covenant of the Plume, there you go, is the first game that they're going to be doing. And I guess it's going to be kind of like a recurring thing. This is going to be the, first opportunity to look at something like this. But it's teams of 4, and one person is designated as the runner. The others are routers. And they've got basically a month to come up with a route for the game. And then the runner for each team is going to run the game in a race to determine which team was the best at routing the game. And you know what this actually kind of reminds me of is I think Flicky had a challenge, or maybe it was the Sunday Sequence Break had a challenge at AGDQ 13 where they said, okay, we're going to bring a surprise game and you have to route it.
Yeah,
it's kind of reminded me of that. Yeah,
Police,
Future Cop, wasn't it?
Future Cop.
Yeah. It's almost like that, but now we're adding in the RPG element here, so potentially a lot longer game. I don't know. What do you guys think about the collaborative routing challenge? Does it sound like something you'd be interested in? What do you think?
I think it's awesome. Like, I think it's honestly, the way I look at it is like it's like a celebration of routing. Like, if you think about it, like a lot of the games in the speedrunning community it seems to be heavily focused on platformers, right? So there's routing for sure, but the majority of it comes down to skill level. So whereas with RPGs, it's a lot more about routing, and sometimes, especially with platformers and whatnot, routing kind of goes unnoticed. So I think it's really cool that it kind of puts a, like an emphasis on it. And it's great because I feel like this is like the only type of game that it would be so good, like this challenge. Like if you gave like somebody like 2 to 3 weeks to learn a platformer, it still would probably come down to, okay, who's better at the game, right? Rather than who's got the better route. So I think it's a really awesome concept, and I'm really curious to see how it turns out.
Yeah, just to kind of give some more details on it here. So we've got the teams released for the first one here. I love the team names, by the way. They came up with their own team names, and I can't even understand half the team names. Like there's some definitely there's some in jokes in here I'm not getting, but we've got Ace in the Hole is Chaos, Rosiel, Tide, and Anchor. We've got Team Shikuku's Wrath, LCC, Tonic, Falcon, and 520. We've got Team Dana's Special Snowflake Menu. That's Dragon Dark, Scent, Dana, and Nighty. And then we've got somehow, I don't know who possibly rigged this team, but Dorter Slumlords is the team. And of course, it's got Claude, Rudy, Huang, and Dream Boom. Claude and Dream Boom on the same team. I feel like there was some rigging going on there, but yeah, those are your first 4 teams. So I guess the routing has begun, if I understand correctly, and we'll kind of check back in with them over the course of the month here to see how they're doing. But I don't know, interesting concept. Spike, Worcester, you got any thoughts on the routing challenge?
Yeah, I guess I 100% agree with Darkman. I love the concept of this. It reminds me of when I was in theater school and we did a 24-hour play festival where you got 5 people together, a writer, a director, and 3 actors, and you were given a line, a prop, and a setting, and you had to make up a 20-minute play that you then showcased the next day. There was an entrance fee, and you won money afterwards. Cool. And there's no money involved here. There's no entrance fee or anything. But again, a lot of what this this highlights is something that we don't highlight every day in the RTA or the speedrunning community, is we don't highlight the routing aspect of it. A lot of people watching don't take that sort of thing in. It's just the intrigue of, okay, here's the literally in an RPG, thousands of options I might have, the ways I can go down these different routes. It emphasizes community and teamwork, people coming together. That, guess what? It's not the one person who creates the run and then does the run. It's, you talk about maybe like the 3D Zelda community, the Pokemon community, the Mega Man community, or you're talking about literally hundreds of people who have come together to optimize this game over the years. And it showcases showcasing. Just putting on a show.
Showcases showcasing. All right,
yes.
That's the new one.
Yeah, I went there.
That's a good one. I like that one.
All right. Yeah, no, just putting together this presentation for people at the very end that we all came together and look.
And it's fair to say it's not going to be a world record worthy run by any means. Over the course of just
it's
a few weeks
unrouted,
like this.
so it might be world record.
I mean, it is, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not going to have that polish that games that have been around for forever will. But it's interesting because of that, because I think what's going to happen when you go to watch the race at the end of this month is you're going to see one team or two teams are going to just go do something completely different from the others, and there's it's going to split. I love that. I love that it's not going to be everybody following the same route. Even if you did this for a platformer, I feel like it would eventually merge, or the teams would be really close together by the time the race shows up. I feel like this is going to be so bizarre, just keeping track of what teams are doing what. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's interesting. Anybody else want to jump in for some final thoughts on that? Or
I think it's an amazing idea, and not just for what it shows, but I think it'll be amazing for the people actually doing it, because I mean the most fun I've had in speedrunning is routing a game as a team, just having other people coming together with different ideas, seeing what's actually faster. And it's like when you're running a game like an RPG, it's like, when you save time or when you lose time, it's not always based on execution because it's got so much random element. But when you're routing it and you route out something that's like 2 seconds faster, it's like, yes, I saved that forever. Like, that's an incredible feeling.
It's never
so much.
I'm never wasting that time again.
Exactly.
Never getting paralyzed by that guy again. All right.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll check back in with them over the next couple of weeks and see how they're doing. So, interesting concept. Let's move on to a topic we brought up last week. And we had the foresight. We nailed it. This might be a final split first. We actually predicted 2 world records.
We did one thing right.
That's right. Yeah. Right. So last week on our show, we said, hey, Cool Kid is getting really close in Mega Man 1. And we said Chelney is getting really close in Mega Man 4. It turns out that just a few hours after we cut the stream and rated Chelney scooped up the Mega Man 4 record, and then
I think it was that run.
I think it was it that run?
On that run,
yeah,
we rated him.
Yeah.
And Darkman and I, we're talking to Flicky last week, and we're just watching the run the whole time in the background. And Flicky says something. We love you, Flicky. And Darkman's just like, I'm totally not listening.
Sorry, I've been watching the record. Yeah. And then Cool Kid, the beast that he is, cut Mega Man down to below 19 minutes with an 18:55. I don't even understand how that's possible, but it is. So, what do you guys think? Cool Kid and Chelney, 2015 Mega Man.
It's 2 amazing records. I mean, Mega Man 4, you have to grind through so much RNG with that game, because literally, oh my god, what am I thinking? There's literally like 5 stages that have over 6 seconds of RNG in a 7-minute game, in which you have maybe 40 or 50 seconds at this point to lose. Based off like some of the best, to lose like up to 20 seconds due to RNG is just ridiculous. So for Chelney to grind that and get down to it and also play well is just a great accomplishment on his part, and doesn't seem like he's done too, so it might go even lower. And then Cool Kid is just so what people may not realize is Mega Man 1 has very little RNG. I believe it has the least out of the 6. But what separates it from the others is it has a bunch of basically everything in Mega Man is relying on pixels. So basically everything, all the magnets that you zip have to be on the correct pixel. So on top of that, some of the zips they do in the later part of the game are based on subpixels. So basically, like Wily 2 is all a matter of how like amazing and kind of lucky are you at the same time. So for a Cool Kid to basically grind that out, get an amazing Wily 2 stage and get a sub 19 is just truly magical. I don't really know what else to say.
If you watch Cool Kid's face, because he usually streams with webcam, but if you watch Cool Kid's face while he's going for stuff, especially towards the end of the run, it blows my mind how calm he is, that he could just potentially just throw it away on a single zip. You know, it's just, he's got this swagger about how he plays the game where he's just like, it's not gonna go wrong. You can't. I'm Cool Kid. You can't. It's just, I don't know. I don't
He
have
really
I'm
is
sitting here like
nuts. He's like
shaking. I see a green split and I'm like, I dropped my controller. Like, but
Yeah, Cool Kid has always been the guy that if I was putting together my speedrunning athletic squad,
you're
Cool Kid's the one you want to have the ball. You want him
Yeah.
to be the point guard of your team in March Madness down in the Final Four with 30 seconds left on the clock. It is just this sense of, something that I think a lot of speedrunners would love to have. Just this like no fear mentality to just go for everything. What if it ruins my run? I'll play another game afterwards. It's
Right.
all right. So, no, yeah, definitely big congratulations to both. Awesome to hear this name Chelny, popping up out of the woodworks. How long has Chelny been a name for? How long has he been running? Because he obviously knows all of literally all the classic Mega Mans.
He's been running Mega Man 4, I believe, since September. So he's honestly not been running it for a long
about half
time.
a year, yeah.
That's pretty fast for a classic Mega Man to get
Started
the record.
after Checkers established the 3810.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
pretty crazy. I would have thought he'd been working on this for years. Nope.
Yeah, and worth noting too, it's 1 second is the difference in Mega Man 4 now. So, whether or not he's done, we'll see. But yeah, barely sneaking in there. Good stuff either way. Let's move on. We've got more. I didn't realize we have so many things, but we do. So up next, we've got the NES Marathon Race, which is happening this weekend. We brought this up with Bad Breaks when he was on our show, but just reminding you that it's this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and they're going to be racing 20 NES games. Not all of them are beat the game. There's different objectives depending on what the game is. I know Top Gun is one we were making fun of. You got to land the plane in Top Gun. That's just interesting.
Hey, that might be one of the hardest
I think that's going to be the
challenges.
hardest one. Yeah, but it's not quite the category you'd expect anyway. But yeah, I don't know. You guys seen people practicing for this? Do you got a favorite? Who's winning the 20 NES race?
Oof.
Man, I don't know. I kind of got to go with, I believe Dexter's playing it in it, right? So
I
gotta
think
go
so.
Dexter.
Yeah,
Gotta go with Dexter.
Dexter.
Yeah, it's hard to go against Dexter. I'm going to take Bad Breaks in this one. He seemed pretty confident about it. He shot us down pretty well for, are people even going to finish this? He's like, yeah. No, it's pretty simple. Yeah, I mean, Fiesel's obviously also a good choice, I think. But you see people like him, you see Jorf working on. I mean,
I think
this is not some
Jorf's
little
a good
gimmicky
pick.
thing going on. Jorf's a great pick, actually. You're seeing people putting up some solid, like, couple of hours, and they're through 20 games. At least 20 challenges within games, short categories. I think you've got a lot of good names. Whatever your pick is, I definitely recommend people showing up and watching this Saturday. I think this is going to be a ton of fun to watch. You're going to want, your Khadgars, your Vebers, your multi-twitches, whatever you want up, because I think this is going to be an exciting, unique experience that we don't get to see, that we've never seen before in the speedrunning community.
It reminds me kind of the 46 Robot Masters when that was big for Mega Man. It's similar to that, where it's just like you have to have skill in a lot of different environments. This is obviously going to be even more expansive than that because they're not just the same series. But yeah, I mean, you have to be able to play a lot of games at a high level. So I guess I'm almost more curious to see how many people enter. And then how many people finish? Because I do think 20 games is a little bit, off-putting for people who might be on the fence about joining it. It might be just a little too much, but we'll see what the entrance total is like. Worcester?
I actually feel like it'd be a really great race to watch because it's not often when you're watching a race of a game and you're like, oh, so-and-so's really good at the ending, but he's not really good at the start. It's like generally someone who's good is good at all of the game.
Yeah.
And someone who's kind of, mediocre level is mediocre through the whole game. Whereas a race like this, you could see someone take the lead and then fall into last
Right.
and then come back just because they're good at different games
Right.
and
Sure.
not so good at other ones. So I feel like it could be definitely, as you said, a really unique experience to
And
watch that race.
I still think the most interesting part of it's going to be the games where they struggle. Because you're
Yeah.
so used to seeing, it's like, oh man, I watch, Jorf play Ninja Gaiden all the time. He's really good at that. I want to see, what trips up Jorf, or what game is Fiesel struggling with? What's going to be the
Race,
stickler?
Dexter,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big statistic I want to look at as well. If we could somehow get some sort of stat geek.
There you
on
go.
this. Just what game claims the most runners? Because
Yeah.
you do have your number of runners who are actually, they're dirty peeing, they're practicing, they're doing their
dirty
thing.
peeing. I don't think you
They're-
should ever use that expression again.
Is this not the okay, never mind.
All right.
But yeah, they're doing their thing. You wonder again how many people are just going to jump in on this, have fun. Those people, I want to know, is it going to be Where's Waldo? Is it going to be landing the plane? Like, what's going to claim the most runners? I'm really interested to see that. I think
All
that'll
right.
be fun.
Well, we'll find out this weekend and see what's going on there. We have one more thing that's wrapping up this weekend, and actually it's wrapping up tomorrow. So that is the mystery tournament signups, and so I apparently don't have that on my. It jumps right to Crystal. Look at this. We got the 20 NES games, and then it's just there's nothing. So I'm going to put the blank box there, and we're going to pretend that it's written there.
All right. Good.
So the mystery tournament submissions wrap up tomorrow. And again, for those of you that maybe haven't heard of it, mystery tournament, you're submitting short goals for games for people to race. You're going to get paired up one-on-one against people, assigned a random game, and then you have to complete the objective. And if you're the first to do it, you move on. And if you're not, you go to the losers bracket, and then you're out. So I just want to remind everybody, join the mystery game tournament. And then also, we've received some pretty exciting news from the mystery tournament guys, and that is that our show next week, Thursday night, we're going to push our show back a few hours, but the reason is they're going to do the first round of mystery tournament. They're going to do the first game of the first round on our show, so pretty cool stuff. Going to hopefully get Boney on the show to do some commentary there. He's been putting in a lot of work for the tournament, but looking forward to it. We're going to have the first mystery of the tournament on our show. So did you guys all enter? Are any of you playing in it?
I am playing in it.
Darkman's playing in it?
I am into my games. I'm really looking forward to people playing my games because they're all really. Some of them are out there. Some of them are unique. I just want to point out to everybody, as I know there's so many people out there that are like, oh man, I'm really bad at playing blind games, or I'm just really bad at games in general. Let me tell you, yeah, there's those 5 or 10 people that are always going trying to win or whatever not, but there are there's 130 people on this thing, and I would say half of them are like me, where they're like, I just want to win one game. Just that's it.
Just give me one win.
One game.
I've entered like 4 of these. If I can get one win,
or
be a happy
not
man.
even one game. Some people are just like, I just want to get a good game to play. Like you don't need to worry about like how you finish. It's just about having fun, getting a really good game or a really bad game, and just making the most out of it. So don't be afraid to submit and join.
Spike, are you in this one?
I'm gonna try to get in the next one. I'm gonna be a great stream monster.
Okay,
I love watching these all the time. There's not a funnier experience all year than watching people do these blind races, because you really do get some just kooky, off the wall, never heard of this game stuff where people are like, and you see people reduced to base skill level at the end of the day, watching people who are, these are god gamers, and then they can't move forward in this Barbie game. It's hilarious. And out of that, what you end up seeing is kind of also like the RPG marathon, is you might see people actually pick up some new games here. It might even not even necessarily be the runners, but someone sitting there watching and saying, hey, look at this, I don't know, this Speedy Gonzales game. And like, that actually looks really cool. I want to go fast. Let's do this. Sure.
Okay.
So I think it's a great event, and I look forward to 132 entrants. That's insane.
Yeah, it's getting close to their most ever. So there's still potential if people join in. Worster, are you going to be playing in it?
I'm not, because I already have 70 plus games.
That's right.
But I will say this. I joined the round robin the first time that was done, which is pretty much, I think, what led into this.
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
just
so.
a bunch of guys doing blind races. It was the most fun I have ever had speedrunning. It was absolutely incredible. Just playing games you'd never heard of with really cool guys, finding new games. Like, that was how I found out about Gimmick, and Gimmick is my favorite NES game after that. Like,
Wow.
it was, like, amazing. I loved it so much. And it's just, yeah, it's so much fun. It's so enjoyable. Like, if you have the time, just do it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Would be my, like, pitch. Like,
Well,
there's no reason not to. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of fun to play in, and you don't really lose anything for trying. I guess you might get a 0-2 and be out of the tournament, but at least you don't have to play any more DOS games if you go 0-2. I'm hoping this year I'm like, no DOS games for me. Come on, just or at least a good one. I don't know, but we'll see. So yeah, get your submissions in. Sign up tonight still. And do we have a favorite? Is Captain Drake gonna win it again? Is that?
Well, he's not the defending
He's
champion.
not. He's pizza.
That's
That's I'm forgetful. Yeah, he won. Yeah. You know why I overlook it? It's because Monkey Ball Jr. is dead to me. That's why I just pretend like it didn't happen. But I don't know. Do we have a favorite? Do you have somebody that you're looking out for?
There's so many strong people now. I would say, what was it, 5 last time? I believe Mystery Tournament 5 last time. There were so many people that you didn't know that came out of nowhere, and just like all of a sudden you see them in the finals. So it's like, honestly, I don't even know who's the favorite this time. I just feel like we're gonna find so many people that are just coming in of nowhere.
Yeah,
that's what's great about this tournament is you don't feel like it's not like the NCAA basketball tournament where you got your 1 seeds, your 16 seeds who have no chance. It feels like you got a whole bunch of 16 seeds. It is the mystery aspect about it that is so intriguing and so exciting. If I was an entrant in this, I'd be sitting here like, oh man, I can't wait to see what game I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Is it, and it's almost like I feel like I would have no fear. Like, oh, okay, I am facing Captain Drake or Used Pizza or someone who I think is like, oh, they're just naturally better than me at games. You'd be surprised again when you take someone and you put them at their base skill level. You just throw them in this game that they've never heard of, and then how all of a sudden how even the playing field is. No one's on their home court anymore. So yeah, the mystery aspect makes it so exciting.
Go ahead, Worcester.
The way I would view it personally, if I'm in the tournament going through, like you said, there's so many 16 seeds, and it's just like, I would view myself and everyone else as an underdog. Basically, I would have the mentality if I win, oh, what an amazing win! I'm so
I
happy.
can't believe
if lose,
I won
like,
that.
oh,
It wasn't like, well, he was
this
supposed
game.
to do it. Yeah.
Blecky's got my pick here. So Primal, I played against him and was on the losing end of that. That hurt. But I've also seen him play my submission. He got one of my games. And when I played it, I assumed that the estimate was going to be like 45 minutes. It seemed like a reasonable time for that. And he beat it in like 12 minutes. Like, it was under the minimum amount of time it took.
It was actually...
They were like, yeah, you're supposed to at least make him play for 15 minutes or something. And Primal beats my goal in like 12 minutes. So I'd look out for him too. If you get him, you might be shedding some tears and heading to the losers bracket. But in any case, like I said, they'll be doing the first game on our show next Thursday night. And we're all looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at Worcester's Crystal Run. It's time for the record of the week. Now I can hit the right arrow, and we've got the right text there. So the 319. Now, did you jump over 320? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
And you're the sole 319 now.
Yes.
Okay. So I've got some highlights here. Feel free to you can comment over them or just you can talk about the run in general. But you're not going to know what you're seeing yet. So.
Unless you look at the Skype window.
Yeah.
Which is what
sharing?
I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
All right. Yeah. See, I'm up to date.
He's prepared.
But yeah, Crystal is the one game that's like, with all the Pokemon games, it's generally when I finish a run, it's like, I know I'm happy with this. Crystal, every single time, I'm always, this was good, but it could have been so much better. Not it could have been better.
Right.
It could have been so much better. But I was really happy. I've wanted sub 320 for like, I don't know, 2 years in this game. So I was really happy I finally got it. This year, there's been like so much discussion on Gen 2 of people just rerouting. it was like there was Enter, Sinstar, Lembox, Ryzakin, and me have just been talking in a topic for like the past month or whatever, just like throwing out different ideas. And like this run, when was it done? When did I get this? 2 days ago, yesterday? I can't remember. 2 days ago, I think. Since then, there's been like, 15 more posts in the topic. We've already improved the route by like 3 seconds in like 18 different parts because they're all like 20 frame improvements. And it's like,
wow. 20 frames in the
That's
320.
insane.
Nice. I love it.
So,
yeah,
I mean-
it just keeps going on. It's great.
Is it at the point now where you're done with it, or are you going to keep going now that you're finding all these improvements? Are you satisfied with the 319 until somebody proves you otherwise, or are you going to?
I'm happy with the 319 in that I have other games and I want to pursue them.
Right.
But I am 100% confident I will come back to this game at some point.
Okay.
And that's always what it's like with this game. But I'm sure this will actually get beaten by someone else before I come back to it. Like Exarion's doing runs and he has a 320 as well. So I'm sure he can definitely beat this time as well.
Okay.
So where would you rank this among your proudest, your proudest PBs, records, whatever, of speedrunning achievements?
It's hard to say. It doesn't have that like 100% glorified feeling that I got from the 155 in yellow, but that's like
Sure.
the only game that's ever had that feeling pretty much. It's like on that second tier that's like, yeah, this is a good run. I could present this to someone and be like, yeah, this was a great speed run. But it's like, speedrunner mentality, I could always be
Right.
better.
Always be a little
Sure.
better. Leader Claire was defeated.
Nice.
Did you
She's
notice
done
that splice there? I didn't even do a good job of transitioning from that highlight to the next one.
Is this the last minute?
No.
No.
This is
Not at all.
This is Lance. This is the first credits, not the real credits. But yeah, I had 318 in this run, like pretty much locked in, and then I get to the last fight, and the last fight cost me like a minute and a half. It was just so incredibly dreadful.
Yeah, you'll notice when I put together the highlight reel, I left out the part where the the final fight starts to go downhill. Tried to do my best. I wanted to show the highlights. I know you said earlier, you were talking to us and said it's all low lights.
Yeah, I mean
Wait for
that's
the response. Go ahead.
that's the thing in Pokemon that people love seeing, the stuff that goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's where it's like it challenges you.
Right.
This isn't what you're expecting. How are you going to react to it?
Sure.
I mean, when things are going well, it's like, oh, this game's easy. It's just super duper easy. But yeah, you did miss it. But basically, it's like you have to set up on his Pikachu, and it's like it has like a 90% chance. I'm not sure exactly what it is to use Charm, and if he uses Charm, you can just use 4 X items and then just destroy his team. First turn, he uses Thunder, and when he uses Thunder, it has 70% accuracy to hit. But if it ever hits, then he always uses Thunder because it can kill you. So you have to just keep healing and wait for him to miss. And he hit, I think, 6 times in a row or something. Maybe it was 5.
Oh, wow.
So
Terrible.
it
Easily
was like
the biggest time loss. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely was. And in that run, it was by far the biggest time loss overall in the run. And I was really happy with it up until that point as well. And so it was just like that sour taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'd lost that minute in the middle of the run, it would have been like, oh, yeah, there was this and this and this. Because it was right at the end, it was just like, oh, no.
Yeah, watching
at
the
the
time slip
finish
away.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got the link there on the bottom of the screen. You could just head over to Worcester's stream too. I don't know. This kind of redundant, like having Worcester's name on the stream and then also having the link to the replay. But
Remind you once again.
for those of you that are hardcore fans of bombchit.us, I don't like saying bomb chews because there's a dot in the middle, but head on over there. Bombchit.us. Speaking of things that are worded funny, okay. That was my translation. We've got.
Would be proud.
That's right. We've got Glitch Please coming up here. Now, before we play this one, I feel like it's appropriate to set the mood. So we of course have the finalsplit.com now, which you guys should check out if you haven't already. But we received our first submission from the finalsplit.com, and it reads as follows. I was speedrunning Fable 2, and this accident happened. I jumped down to get to the next objective, and I got stuck in the corner for about 16 secs. Beofer the game finally decided to let me go. R.I.P. my speedrun. Maybe Fable 2 just wanted to be like Super Mario 64 and BLJ off this corner. Did apostrophe NT really work, unfortunately? And with that description, let's go ahead and take a look. I feel like that sets the tone. So I don't even know where to begin with this, but he jumps off a cliff. I don't even know how to describe this. He's having fun on the cliff there, and
He's having a grand old time.
that's it. I don't even know where to go with that, but
just full disclaimer. We did not edit this. Golden did not edit this.
No,
video
I did
at
not.
all.
I
That
did
is
not put the Mario.
original source right
I did not
there.
put the Mario music in there.
Okay.
That was in there. That was in there. I did not edit that in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I don't know. On that note, thank you very much for the submission.
Nailed it. Beautiful.
I really like your text. Compares people to Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to watch it yourself, you guys. Check out the link there that I did not provide, so you'll never find
You'll
it.
never know.
I missed the link. Okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is you guys should send us your links when you have weird things go wrong in your runs and you would like them displayed on our show. Or if you have a friend that you want to make fun of when something goes wrong in their run, send us the clip on thefinalsplit.com and we might feature it. So thanks again for the submission. And on that note, we'll go to Q&A with the chat here. If anybody's got questions for Worcester, now is the time to ask them. And if anybody's got weekend plans, now is the time to tell them. Anybody got anything going on this weekend?
Oh, what is going on this weekend? I'm having my fantasy baseball draft this weekend.
Fantasy baseball.
Already?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know, right? Well, I mean, I guess it's starting in like a month. I don't know. I've never done anything fantasy outside of football and, of course, March Madness. But yeah, no, baseball, like, football is like this self-contained thing. Like, you pick like 12 guys. You set your lineup like every week. You maybe mess with like one or two players. This is like a 23.
Baseball, it's like you're committing to a full-time job here. You're trying. You have to update that every day.
Now, thankfully, it's with a whole bunch of nerds. So I'm hoping that it's gonna, we're all gonna be pretty casual about it. It's gonna be pretty whatever. But yeah, doing fantasy baseball. So I'm sure that's my weekend by itself. So.
All right, we've got some questions in here. I don't know where this is going, but how does Worcester like his steak cooked?
Oh dear. Definitely well done without blood.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Get rid of that blood. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not
no,
good.
I had one instance of this at AGDQ 2014. I said, I want my steak well done. And the guy just looked at me and he was like, really? Are you sure? I was yes.
They never believe you. No, it's just uncommon. Let's see. Shasta wants to know, as one of the runners of Metroid Prime Hunters, when is he eligible to join the Metroid Hunters crew?
That's how you get in, right?
That's how you get right. That's
how you get in. Look, I'm going to call you out right now. And this might not even be accurate anymore, but I noticed on speedrun.com you don't have a time for any percent. So
ooh.
You're not going to get added
There
until
you go.
I see runs.
Who is the most recent
Fully
addition to MHC?
Triax.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's been a
hard.
while.
It's pretty exclusive. I guess into the Skype call, I think it's actually Combo who ran Sonic Advance 2 at AGDQ this year.
Okay. Let's see. What 3 games are you looking forward to in the NES? Top Gun. That's
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Top Gun.
Top Gun all the way around. Good question. Robotnik
Mega Man 2
Eggman. What?
Mega Man 2 for the people that don't play Mega Man 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested to
Yeah.
see how many people have. Because I was watching Jorf last night during his run, and he was having a lot of problems with Wily 4. And I was like, man, you're gonna be that tired that far into
It's
that.
a long.
20
That's one of the
minute-
longer games too in the race. So
It's the only full game run I think out of the entire bunch.
so another question there. They're all scrolling by me now. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up. What's your take on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire? I guess that's to Worcester.
Yeah, the good games, they're in like impossible speed games to optimize because the route that would be the fastest uses the dex nav, and there's like a incredibly low percent chance to get what you want from it. Where it's
Okay.
just like a Pokemon just appears at 10 levels higher with an exact egg move what you want, and there's a chance that it gets perfect IVs, but it's just like impossible to actually get because it's like a 1 in 10,000 chance or whatever.
Nice.
Let's see here. Has there been any plans to grab? I'm trying to summarize here. Top players for Pokemon and have a grudge match type race.
Grudge match. Oh no, I saw that guy ask that before. He wanted like all the Pokemon games back to back. The issue with that would be Pokemon is like not a good race game when it's glitchless, especially at high level. It's like so much of the difference on the time is you save in front of the starter and you're just waiting for good stats, and someone could just get unlucky 10 times, someone gets it first try, and there's zero chance they can catch up. Like, pretty dreadful as a race game overall,
Okay.
I feel.
Let's see. Rushmore 917. Will you return to Emerald to embarrass me soon?
Okay, so shout outs to Rush. He got a sub 240 on Emerald recently, which beats my time by like 4 minutes. Him and Vince have put some nice work into that game. I do plan to return to Emerald at some point, but it's not high on my priority list. It's this year.
Okay, that's on there this year. Okay. Let's see. There's a lot of questions this time. We don't usually get so many, so this is cool. Most
Good
useful
job, Wars.
Pokemon in any speedrun.
Ooh. Ugh.
That's
The
It
MVP.
depends by what you mean by
Yeah.
that question.
I
Like,
mean,
that could mean so many different things.
that's a very vague question. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty dreadful actually. But it's interesting
You should
how
feel bad.
you don't like use the same Pokemon in like any game pretty much. Like even in the remakes, you'll use different Pokemon than what
Right.
you used in the original game. So it really depends on the layout of the game.
Okay. Do you really think Robotnik or Eggman dies in Sonic and Knuckles storyline when he rises as a robot at the ending?
What? What?
These questions are amazing.
He comes out when you beat him. Like
You can just see the quality of the questions transfers from the streamer to the stream.
I see a pretty good question here, actually, from Naglaria.
Yeah.
Will you make a tutorial / list of all your strats for Sonic 2? You and TNT have really smart routes for it.
okay. See, maybe not. I really like the knowledge base idea that SDA has going on, and Sonic 2 is one of the few games that I've seen it's got like some really nice data for it. But yes, some of it is outdated, and I would like to improve some of that. The issue for me is always time. It's like
Yeah.
creating tutorials and like adding to that knowledge is something that you want to do because you really want other people to like know what to do and have that information somewhere. And I'm a big believer in spreading information and having that consistent everywhere. But my priority is always running the games.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's always what I want to be doing is running the games. So it's like I would wait until I'm at a period of time where I'm like burnt out on the game and it's like, well, I could do this instead and that could still be interesting and I might learn something and being really helpful. But usually when I get burnt out, I'm just like, well, I'm going to play some other game.
Right, exactly. I was going to say one thing that I've always actually admired about your attitude towards speedrunning is that like there's drama going on all around you, and you're just playing the game. You're just like you don't care what people are. Who cares what you're thinking about the category drama or whatever. Just play the game. Don't spend 4 months, 5 months debating if you should start the run. Just get in there, start playing, make mistakes, and figure it out. I don't know. I think that's really cool. It's a good attitude to have.
And in Worcester's defense of actually, because I've actually had a little kick of making tutorials lately for Isles for some of my games and individual boss fights. If you want to just like poop out like, all right, yeah, here's what it looks like. Yeah, that takes a few minutes of your time to really make a tutorial, an in-depth, how do you do everything in like just one IL for Sonic 2. That would be, well over an hour of your time put in just to make one exactly how you want to make it and upload it and edit
Yeah.
it however you would want to. So then you multiply that by, 20 or whatever levels there are just in Sonic 2. It ends up being a lot more time than you'd think.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a lot of people asking about Blue 151. Do you think that should be at a GDQ?
As a GDQ, I think it would be fine. If it is done, it should be this Summer Games Done Quick. That should be the Pokemon run they do.
Okay.
Like its length is like I think Shenanigans has got like his record is like under 210 now.
God.
So
That's I don't even understand.
I
Yeah.
remember when it was first being offered. Wasn't it like a 5 or 6 hour estimate?
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's come down a lot. So it really wouldn't be that big an issue on length because you've had longer Pokemon games than that before.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the only worrisome thing in my part is I like for the Pokemon games to be different from time to time. Like each time a GDQ comes along, and Red Blue was just done. But I mean, I don't think it's that big a deal because it's entirely different run, and
Sure.
it's a different runner, so it gives a totally different feel as well. Yeah, if it is done, I think it should be this SGDQ. And I think it would be a good run because I'm not sure what other Pokemon run would be good for this SGDQ, honestly.
All right.
Excellent.
We'll take one more here. Have you beat any Zelda games from worse or more like Clownster?
Yes, I have beat Zelda games.
I have seen you beat
Nice.
Zelda games, I think. Didn't you stream with what was Washi over at your house one time?
Oh, with Washi. Did we play a Zelda game?
I feel like
don't
you
even
did.
know.
Maybe not.
I caught up with him recently, actually, just like
Okay.
last week. That was good. Really good times. Went to this gelato place, which in case you haven't heard me or seen me retweeting, I absolutely love. It's my new favorite thing in the world. I even have, look at this. I got this right here.
Uh-oh. Show
I
and tell
got-
again.
A box
Uh-huh.
of what the presentation looks like because I took one home with me because I love it so much. It's so fancy. Let's just open it up. There's like a liter tub of gelato in there.
Wow.
And we're going back next week because the place next door is a pizza place that just opened and they're going to give us free pizza if we show up next week.
Well,
Dude,
there's-
Life doesn't get any better.
Yeah, I'm coming over. I'm going to get some pizza. All right. All right, we've got enough questions there. Let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up. It's time for the speech, and this week we actually have one. That's unusual.
Wow, we nailed it.
We do. And Darkman, you wanna do the honors here?
I do. So, funny thing, somebody happened to send to me the other day. I don't know if maybe this has been a thing for a while, but I only just found about it recently. So, there's been a few people that have been playing Kirby Tilt and Tumble recently, and I don't know if you guys know anything about that game, but it involves, I believe it's I think it's a Game Boy Advance game.
Game Boy
Remember
Advance.
which-
Yeah.
I don't remember
Game
which
Boy
Game Boy
something.
game it is. Yeah, but anyway, the game is unique in which you have to tilt and tumble with it, right? So you have to actually move your Game Boy. So it's kind of a neat feature. So people are trying to stream this game, right? So naturally, you get a Game Boy player, put it in a GameCube. Funny thing about that is, well, okay, how does the tilt and tumble work? Well, you actually tilt and tumble the entire GameCube. So it's just, I'm gonna link a run for you guys to watch. It's just the most absurd thing I've ever seen. You literally have this like webcam of like this guy just like tilting, or I'm gonna link to you Alta Biscuit's run. Like,
Sure.
he's literally tilting his entire GameCube. As he's
It
running,
looks
and
it
it's just,
looks like he's gonna break it. I don't know. It's
it's
How
just
do you
like
not break it in that?
I don't know. It's just like the strangest thing I've ever
isn't
seen.
it
in the speedrunning
uncomfortable to
community.
watch? Yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable to watch. You're like, that could be my GameCube right there. That's jarred like that. But
It's amazing the things people do in this community.
that is the thing is like that's the kind of run that's going to be a GDQ like instant lock.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like that's I'm going to be tilting a GameCube for 20 minutes and. Oh, by the way, there's a game going on too. It's not just me sitting here doing that, but
They don't even have a game feed. It's just
no, just some guy sitting. That sounds like a Ustream, if anything. Just some guy sitting in a chair for an hour a day, shaking the GameCube. But yeah, no, and it's down to like 20 minutes, right?
I think it's even better than that. I believe somebody pointed out that Dan Ray 2352 is the world record holder, and I believe it's under 20 minutes too. So I don't have his thing, otherwise I'd link
and
that.
it's getting optimized. Wow,
Yeah.
I thought this. When you first brought it, I thought it was just like one guy was randomly doing this, like Alta. Nope, they've got competition for this.
Is it just me, or is the GameCube like a better Wii Motion Plus? I feel like it's more responsive. It's got the handle. It's like a lunchbox. You can, yeah. I don't know. I want to try it. If anything, like somebody please bring this to SGDQ. I'm guessing it gets into SGDQ anyway if someone offers it. But
I really hope so.
yeah,
I would definitely watch that.
somebody please bring it, and we need a group play of Tilt and Tumble. So,
I feel like that could be potentially very dangerous, actually.
It could be. Depends on who you let control the GameCube.
People just tilting GameCubes into each other, like.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, some people when they get mad, they throw their controller, right? So
Oh no!
what happens when you throw the GameCube?
Just through a wall.
Yeah. Just a fastball. Somebody has a red bruise all over their face. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on Tilt and Tumble as well, because I think that's headed towards the GDQ here pretty soon. So
The
Someone
worst.
brought up a great point in chat just then as well. Just put it in just so the tech crew gets absolutely destroyed by that.
they have to find some way to deal with it. Yeah. Oh, that's really good.
We love you, Bula. Sick.
All right. Well, I think that's going to actually do it for our show. We are all wrapped up here. Thanks again to Worcester for joining us. Good to have you. And of course, you guys are already following Worcester, but if you're not, you should head over and follow his channel as well. You want to give any last minute shout outs before we wrap up here, Worcester?
I don't know. Shout outs to everyone who contributes to speedrunning without actually speedrunning. The people behind the scenes, I feel like they do so much that doesn't get recognized that really should. And I'd just like to personally thank everyone that's helped, me optimize my games. Special shout outs to Cypher, actually. That's who I'll give my special shout outs
It's a
to.
good special shout out.
Yeah, Cypher was the
I hate that you have to
guy-
use the word was. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like in the past, like he
Yeah.
was the one guy who he really cut me down to size when I was really getting into Pokemon, and I did my first run, and I like beat the SDA time by 20 minutes, and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Cypher was just like, that run sucked. That was complete shit. You did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, and it just like it drilled into me. Don't be happy being the best. Be happy being your best.
Ooh. That's really good. That's deep. I like it. We should end on that because it's not going to get any better than that. So, especially if I'm talking. Next week, we're going to do our show. 10 p.m. Eastern is the tentative time. We might start a little later than that, depending on how long it takes for the mystery tournament guys to get all set up and everything. But we are going to do round one of the mystery tournament on our show next Thursday night. So be here for that. And otherwise, I believe we are just about done here. Do we have a raid target in mind?
Yeah, I believe so. We're going to send you guys over, keep it in the Pokemon theme. We're going to send you guys over to Gunner Maniac, who I guess is gunning. I was not even thinking about that going into it. For possibly Worcester's record. I don't even know. So check out Gunner Maniac doing some Pokemon Crystal right now.
All right. And on that note, I guess we'll see you guys back here Thursday. And remember that your run's not over until you hit the final split. We'll see you guys next week.